So, here we are.
How you doing?
Before we head on to the next zone, we need to do another eggplant act.
Oh, this is the worst one in the game.
Yes, it is. I said this earlier in the playthrough, but there's no reason to like actually play any of the fruit acts other than the first one because, you know, you just get more bonuses for your fruit in the first one, which is a lot easier.
This was the first one I played, and I was just like, if all of them are like this, I never want to even play this game ever again.
Well, to be fair, this is the only one that I don't like actually playing because it's based on the orbs. I mean, this is
The orbs suck.
This is literally like the bonus stage from Sonic 3 and Knuckles if it controlled like crap. So, yeah, not exactly a fan.
Like that said, is like once you understand like how the orbs function in this game, it's easy to adapt. It's just that if you're playing Sonic games as long as we have, it's a lot of muscle memory to fight.
Yeah,
it also looks
it
like
is.
with Tails, you can just cheese the whole thing.
Fly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tails can do that.
I do honestly want them to patch it. I genuinely would want them to patch how those orbs play.
This is, yeah, you know, I'm all for Sonic Superstars Plus, Sega. Give me that patch and I will throw my money at the
It's
monitor.
like, well, actually, no, I know, because actually, I want Sonic Superstars Plus free of charge as a original buyer.
Well, I mean, I said I'd throw my money at the monitor. I didn't say I'd give it to Sega.
Well, now you're just weird.
I am not an Origins hater. I think Origins isn't as bad as a lot of people say, but the fact that those of us who bought it originally, and again, even paid for that stupid digital plus shit, still ended up spending about $15 more than people who just bought Origins Plus when that first came out.
Yeah, like, get fucked.
That did leave a very sour taste
Get
in my mouth.
fucked,
I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, and you know, they didn't even fix all the problems either.
I've had Sonic muted on Twitter for 2 years or more. So I understand that Sega did like Sonic Origins and then Plus. What was the other problems with Sonic Origins?
So a lot of the problems with Origins, it's just like they for everything they fixed or improved, there was like 2 things that were jankier than the original versions. And so when Origins came out, they did a few patches to fix a few things. But then when they announced Origins Plus, the big thing was they've added Amy Rose to every game. Knuckles is now in Sonic CD. There's 12 Game Gear games because everyone wanted those, I guess. And they just they improved certain things. But then when Origins Plus came out, again, there's been more patches since then. And it's like I think at its current state, Origins is fine. It's not as good as, like, you know, and some fans have like made like Sonic 1 decomp and all this stuff to fix everything. It's not as good as that, unfortunately. But also, like, if you're a casual fan who hasn't played Sonic, the original Mega Drive games since the Mega Drive was out, half of the shit that the fans are complaining about, not to minimize their complaints because some of them are valid, but I think a lot of the stuff is things that people who haven't played the games in 20 years won't even know or remember, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a good chunk of the problems that we have with Origins is mainly false to just purists. Like, it's not 100%.
It doesn't help that the emulation on the Game Gear titles was frankly embarrassing.
How hard can it be to they've re-released the Game Gear games like 15 times? How could they screw it up?
Well, tell you, when it first came out, the sound was all fucked up and the screens didn't fill the screen. One of the patches they've done since then is they fixed it. Oh, also another problem with Origins as a whole was the quality of like the pixels wasn't very crisp. There's like this weird like blurry filter to everything. Since Origins Plus came out, they released a patch which fixed the picture problems for all of the Mega Drive and the Game Gear games. So now the games look better, and the Game Gear games now don't sound like Satan's shitting out.
Now I can finally play Sonic Blast as I originally remember it. Oh boy.
You know what?
Powered off.
You know what bugs me They keep re-releasing the Game Gear version of the 8-bit Sonic games instead of the frickin' Master System version.
Sonic 2 Game Gear version, it's so much harder to play, and that game is pretty hard to begin with, but especially like when you're trying to fight the fucking underground zone boss, and you can't see when those stupid balls come at you.
And it's the first boss.
It's the first fucking boss, man.
It's a fucking wall. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember anytime I think the only time they've re-released it, the Master System version, was on the Wii?
Yeah, the Virtual Console.
Anyway, speaking of old school Sonic shit, this stage, a lot of the art design in this stage is based off of an old ass concept art for Sonic 1.
I will say that this is a cool gimmick with the flipping the... Oh no, my 401k! Eggman, you bastard!
Your 401k. I remember what a 401k is. It's that thing that you promise yourself you're not going to touch until retirement, but then some financial crisis happens and you have to withdraw.
I thought it was like super ultra mega high definition.
Yeah, the most high definition. You see, you only have the true highest definition 401k if you're rich. You see, rich people literally see in more pixels than poor people do.
You have a 4K TV? Okay, Fred Flintstone, get fucked.
I like how the piggy bank is like the only robot that matches the animal that pops out of it.
Yeah, you know, and it's another thing where, like, I wish there was more, it seems weird to say this, but, like, I wish there was more story in this. Like, say what you want, Sonic 3 and Knuckles conveys a lot of story in its, like, pantomime cutscenes. I wish this game did more, because, like, the giant animals, it's supposed to be because they are unique to the Star 4 Islands. And that's why, part of the reason why Eggman comes here is to make powerful badniks based off the giant animals. But, like, they don't really do anything with the animals. They're just there. You know? It's like, fucking do something.
You know what's great? Knuckles can still do that thing where he punches through walls without even rolling into a ball, but they do absolutely fucking nothing with that in the level design. Anywhere.
Well, I mean, the thing is that if they wanted to do it in normal level design, that would be one, like, I would agree they should probably try to do that, but if you were trying to do that in this level specifically, it literally would be just the same as leaving the area empty. Like those blocks don't need to be there. It doesn't change the level at all.
Oh, yeah, I'm talking about in level design in general.
Yeah.
They do, isn't it? Doesn't the first zone have some of those?
I don't think so. I don't remember it.
Oh, ooh. Okay, so I remember I watched, I think it was Derek's review of Sonic, or maybe it was John Cartwright. One of them, the Good Vibes Gaming review of Sonic Superstars, they mentioned that Knuckles feels really bad to play because the glide is really awkward, and I see what they're talking about now, because, like, you're going at literally supersonic speed, and then Knuckles glides, and he's
the glide doesn't accelerate.
Yes.
It's a fixed speed.
Well,
which has never been the case in any other game, to my knowledge.
The glide always slowed down, but
no, especially in super form, you just kept going faster and faster and faster and faster. They even had a detail for that in like 3 Knuckles, where if you hit the wall at a certain speed, the whole ground would shake, and that was that was a screen
yeah. Oh, that was his hypersonic thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. Hyper Knuckles. That was cool as fuck.
I mean, granted, like, it probably should be slower than just running, because, like, that's the trade-off for gliding, but this is, like, doesn't look fun to use.
I wouldn't be surprised if, honestly, they nerfed that because of the multiplayer aspect.
Probably.
If Knuckles could just start gliding and start going faster and faster, the screen would just always follow him, and I could see that getting very annoying. So I wouldn't be surprised
No, it wouldn't.
Johnny, you love the multiplayer of this game, don't lie.
No, I don't.
That's also probably why Knuckles has the same jump height as everyone else now.
Yeah, wouldn't Tails cause that same problem, though? Like, because he can just fly?
Well, Tails does it kind of, but, like, the way, I'm not sure if you guys covered it, but the way the multiplayer aspect works is the camera will just follow whoever is technically closest to the end. Like, it doesn't matter if it's player 1, player 2, blah, blah, blah. So, like, if you're Tails and you start flying up, 9 times out of 10 the camera won't really just follow you. If you're flying towards the way of the end of the zone, but again, Tails' flight speed is nowhere near as fast as his running speed, so I don't really see that being a problem with Tails. But again, Knuckles could, if his glide had the acceleration of the originals, you could cheese the fuck out of the multiplayer with that.
Yeah. Oh, man. So many problems that could be solved by an online mode.
It's interesting, because, yeah, if this game's online worked like Mario Wonders, it probably would be much better. The problem is it doesn't feel as much like you're playing with other people. So...
Oh, yeah, now that I'm looking at this, Knuckles just goes from, like straight up nothing to straight up 60 to 10 miles an hour.
Isn't the wonder online? It's just like you're not actually playing online. You just people like their ghost data is.
Yeah, but honestly, considering, and I mean, granted, this is us double standards here. When Nintendo's had shitty online for years, so having something less shitty seems like a huge improvement. Like, the thing is that you're not interfering with each other, which is always the most annoying thing in these 2D platformer multiplayer. Like, if you've ever tried to play multiplayer in the new Super Mario Brothers games, it's miserable because you keep bumping into each other and throwing each other. It's just not fun.
We had our share of those shenanigans when we did 3D World. We kept picking each other up by accident, as I recall.
And 3D World's like the better experience because you're not on a 2D plane. You have more room to dodge each other.
Which, says a lot considering how much trouble we still gave each other.
Isn't in the like local co-op for Wonder, isn't that turned off where you can't like pick each other up or like?
I believe so. I have not tried local co-op with Wonder yet.
Okay.
But in online, it's just like everybody's a ghost, so you're not locked to each other's screens, you don't interfere with each other, so you're just kind of like playing alongside someone as opposed to playing with.
It's the opposite of Smash Brothers. Everybody's dead.
Local co-op also has friendly fire turned off, so you cannot interact with each other.
I just have one very important question about Mario Wonder's multiplayer ghosting thing. Can you leave notes on the ground that say there's a secret in this pit right here and trick people into jumping into the pit and dying?
Yes.
You can put out a little standee of Mario going wahoo.
No, I have a much better question. Can Ghost Daisy give you a blowjob like that one scene in Ghostbusters?
No, I don't think that. Wait, why just Daisy though? Why can't Peach get that with that? Or
because come on, Daisy always does that better, Johnny.
Does Peach look like the type that gives ethereal blowjobs?
She doesn't.
I ask you this, audience. No, but the answer is no.
Peach is the kind of woman who would. Peach is the kind of ghost who would blush even though you can't see her there. She'd be useless at ghost sex.
Guys,
listen, Peach has canonically been naked on screen multiple times.
The more you talk about this, the harder the job for me is when I have to upload this shit and give that rating evaluation that they ask for.
No, because we're past the first minute. It's fine. We can say anything now.
The more we talk about this, the harder people listen.
See, like watch. I'm gonna do it right now. Tits. See, nothing happened. We're fine. It doesn't matter.
Hold on, my laptop just exploded, Johnny.
Yeah, my man. High five.
You said that these character acts are supposed to like move the story along, right?
Yes.
So like the Sonic stage,
I would say
Fang.
Sonic probably doesn't. Sonic probably doesn't advance the story. It's just you get to see Fang in that act. All the other three do things.
Hold that thought. If you don't have the emeralds, then all the emeralds you don't have yet will show up here. Right now,
that's what happened to me, yeah.
Since I have all the emeralds, this is just Knuckles chuckling at nothing.
Okay, so that's why he's laughing, because it assumes that you still have emeralds to collect. I thought he was just laughing at the mural. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I opened the door.
Yeah, I was like, that's how it conveyed. Like, it conveyed is like, he was really proud that he got that door open with his fist.
Yeah, so, like, that scene has to happen because in this scene,
dumbass,
all of the emeralds are present, whether you have them or not.
And now Fang goes Super Fang.
Man, now you know how it feels, Knuckles, to bump into someone, knock out all their emeralds.
Anyway, Golden Capital Zone Act 2 stole...
Oh, hi, Amy.
Golden Capital Zone Act 2 stole Press Garden's mojo.
Do you not have your emerald abilities in this stage?
Yeah,
you do not.
That's true. This is the one act in the game where you do not have the emerald abilities.
That's
which
a
is
cool little detail.
Yeah, I like that.
But it also has the worst fucking boss.
Yeah, I was gonna say it would be cooler if the boss wouldn't have seriously benefited
which
from
is-
being able to shorten it.
Which is the boss? Oh, this is the neck fight, isn't it?
Yes.
See, so that's something I kind of, because I see a lot of people dislike the bosses, and that's completely fine. I will admit, some of them go on a bit too long, but I did hate the bosses in this. I kind of thought a lot of them were pretty inventive for this franchise.
You have the hindsight and benefit as a Sonic fan to realize that I should probably go after those emerald powers because they're legit beneficial. So if you have at least Avatar, which is the first one you get, a lot of boss fights can be cut in half just by virtue of that power alone.
No, accurate, but I would think the way the game's designed, I would think at least 90% of all players would have jumped into that first ring and gotten the first demo, because that first one is so easy to do. I would be shocked if you got this far into the game without having at least Avatar, you know?
The one thing that I will say is that a lot of the bosses are, conceptually and mechanically sound. They just needed to be paced better.
Yeah, I won't.
Aladdin for the Super
disagree.
Nintendo.
I agree with that. Yeah, again, it's like I like it. It suffers from, and I wonder if you guys have mentioned this yet. It's the Sonic 4 Episode 2 problem, where the bosses are kind of fun. There's just so much fucking downtime between each hit that it gets annoying.
Yeah.
And Lewis, what was that? What was that?
That was me forgetting that I could even jump when I'm on the stupid surfboard thing.
Yeah. Sonic Rush has a similar problem, and it's like the one thing universally that Rush Adventure I think does better is the
the bosses. The
boss
bosses are more fun to play. Yeah, I get them. But again, it's like I don't hate these bosses again, but I just for some of them, like I saw so many people hated the final boss of the main campaign. I was just like, it's not a. I mean, it technically is another Death Egg robot, but you don't fight him like a Death Egg robot. So I was very happy for that fact. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, it's less the Sonic 2 Death Egg robot and more the. Oh yeah, these are the loops from the concept art. It's less the Sonic 2 Death Egg robot and more a remixed take on the Sonic 3 and Knuckles Death Egg robot.
Kind of, yeah. In terms of its size, yeah, I get you. Malicious fingers, as
it starts off in the background, and the second phase is it chasing you from the side of the screen and collapsing the stage behind you. It's the same concept, just stretched out more and with more than just giant sausage fingers to fight you with in the first phase. So I like that. I do. The first phase could have used some trimming down. More opportunities, more opportunities to hit it, and a bit of a less obtuse means of hitting it, because
Yeah.
Until this game gets patched and that boss specifically gets patched, you're never gonna convince me that boss is good in any sense, like single player and especially multiplayer.
Get good, scrub.
I will defend Eggman's final boss in the main campaign. Once you know what you're doing, it actually doesn't last too long. It could use some better pacing, but it functionally works.
I would even argue against that.
The Fangbot boss, the Fangbot variant on it, however, is just a flustercluck.
I have heard nothing but bad things about Trip's final boss, so I am dreading if I eventually get to that at any point.
Can you play Trip's story in multiplayer?
No, it's single player
story
only.
Although after you complete story mode, you can play as Trip in the main campaign.
Yes. So, the only reason to play Trip's actual story mode is to unlock the final boss, which isn't very good anyway, so why bother?
Say you beat the game. I don't know.
There are just things about both the final boss in the main story and especially in Trip's story that fundamentally just feel broken. Because honestly, to go back to what you said, it's not so bad when you know what you're doing. That can apply to a lot of things. I'm talking to fundamentally the fight is fucking broken, and
like being wallboarded. If you know what you're doing during it,
you're like, just hold your breath.
Well,
it's easy.
Fangbot is fucking broken.
The Eggman. Listen, I'm speaking as I'm also including multiplayer second because that's a big part of this game is multiplayer.
Well, everything's fucking broken in multiplayer.
Yeah, but still, that's a problem.
Yes, it is a problem.
And if you want a primo example, watch the SGB playthrough. Yeah. Because that fight is barely functional with multiplayer. And I'm not just talking about 4 chuckle fucks trying to get a hit in. I'm talking as if the fight will just break for no fucking reason. And it's the most, it's hilarious and it's entertaining and I'm glad for the laughs, but we paid $60 for this shit. And that is ultimately a big problem. You can use it as a tax
write-off, Johnny. Shut up.
Yeah. But I'm not most people, thank God.
well, like, okay, look, the actual, like, the Eggman version of the final boss specifically did not give me any actual shit beyond just figuring out how to hit it at the beginning, which took me an embarrassingly long time.
Same. High five.
But, like, you know, once I figured out how to hit the thing during phase 1, the rest of the boss clicked along smoothly for me. So I don't really have problems with the fundamental construction of the boss fight. I just wish it didn't take so goddamn long.
Yeah, and what I'm about to say might also indicate that it's not the greatest design boss, but if you have at least Avatar for section 2, you can cheese through half of the second phase just by spamming Avatar as soon as he enters the screen.
Avatar, then Bullet, then Vine. Damn it. Okay, so the problem with Fang's boss fight here is that there's a lot of points where he's just hanging out in the background while you have to dodge around shit, as you saw. And then he has the audacity to pull this shit on us, where you can only hit him one time, and then he goes into the background, and then you have to do this slow ass auto scroller.
You have to do the whole thing all over again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So in theory, this is fine if they put like checkpoints in between like each one of these sections where he upgrades the ship.
Checkpoints would help, but like, what really gets me is that, like, you know, they could have done this idea without quite so much of this slow ass nonsense in the middle. Because I legitimately like the stuff going on in the background right now. You see Fang's upgrading his hovercraft between every encounter, actively trying to get better so that he can fight you. And in the background, they're building up to the Fang bot, which is the most hilarious anticlimax in the game. I legitimately like what this boss fight builds up to. But the build-up takes too much goddamn time away from it.
It's story integration that comes at the cost of just not having an interesting fight.
Yeah.
Well, again, I don't mind the fight itself. I don't think the fight is that bad, but I do agree with Lewis. This and a handful of other fights should be shorter. I will not dispute that.
I think at the very least it should have had the Labyrinth Zone mentality where the boss is technically always vulnerable, but you have to get to him.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
That would have been a way to do it. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I like the points at which he retreats into the background to do little upgrade sequences. I just, think they should have not taken as long, and when you're actually fighting him, he shouldn't be hanging out in the background all the time. But
or just if you get all the Chaos Emerald, you should just get a gun, and then you can just shoot him in the background. Game's over.
Man, Shadow
now
the
Amy
Hedgehog
has a gun.
Why is Shadow the Hedgehog
I love this, Lewis. This happens in every playthrough. This thing was not programmed correctly for Amy just to jump over the thing.
I mean, most zones are because of the multiplayer, but this zone in particular stumbles over it for no apparent reason.
You can't hit a girl?
You know what was heartbreaking about that is that you could see that Trip was like legitimately concerned about Fang for a moment there. But then she just had enough, so she goes literal beast mode.
Aww,
yeah, she just becomes a fucking dragon. And that's pretty
I like
metal.
that she takes the armor off in order to fight Fang.
You know what I like about Fangbot here? It's missing its paint job.
Yeah, it's not finished.
Wrecked.
Oh, if only we could do that in Trip's story.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, what are you talking about? That was easy.
Game over, yeah.
hey, I'm gonna need those emeralds back.
I love this interaction, and going back to what you said earlier about this game not doing the story quite as well as Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I think what it's missing is that it just did not cement the North Star Islands as an interesting setting the way Sonic 3 and Knuckles did.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I get that they didn't want to do. I mean, I take it back. They could have done a bunch of animated because So I know this part is over here, but apparently for Mania, they were going to do a bunch of animated, like hand-drawn animated cutscenes between zone transitions. But apparently one of the storyboard artists put one of them on like LinkedIn or like Instagram or something like once before the game came out. Sega saw that and was like, "Fuck this! Nope, he's ruined it. We're not doing that anymore." But like, that's apparently what happened. And I'm saying, if like this game has animation, you could have completely just had like small animated cutscenes throughout. It doesn't have to be every zone, but certain zones to explain things like the giant animals or like the relation or like how like what's going on with Trip and Fang and stuff like that. And I wish that again for a full price game. The fact that there's like maybe 4 minutes of animation in this game, and it's no disrespect because I'm sure they were under a time crunch or what have you, but every single Sonic animation made for YouTube looks better than the cutscene stuff in Superstars, and I'm like
Yeah.
that stuff deceived. I'm not even trying to be me. I'm just like I think that the studio that did the animation should have been given a bigger budget, more time, and been allowed to draw more stuff for this game to really flesh out the story.
Yeah,
I'd agree.
the quality here doesn't really go beyond what was included in the story mode for Origins. But
Sonic, in one of the final cutscenes, Sonic becomes a Biclops. It's like, what the fuck have you done to my Boo Boy? This ain't the movies. Give him a Cyclops eyes back.